Hi, this is Bob McIlvaine, and I'm going to talk to you today about Andritz and their revenues in the air water energy market. The McIlvaine Company has identified air water energy markets in the aggregate of over $750 billion. And of that $750 billion, there's a $300 billion segment that we've labeled air water energy process solutions. And this is a unique niche that we've defined fairly well. We have a number of reports with actually millions of forecasts in all this, in all these segments. And so, when we say that Andritz has a 1 point something percent market share in this AWE solutions market, we have some confidence in our numbers, and we believe that this is an important activity to quantify how big the market is and the shares of the people that are in it. And I think what we're seeing with Andritz is they have all the aspects that you need in the solutions if you want to provide the total solutions. They make dryers, they make hydropower plants, they also make the pumps, filters, and other components. And equally important, they have a whole IIoT effort and service. So they do supply complete solutions in pulp and paper, hydropower, metals, and many other areas. Or actually, I should say many other areas in very specific areas. So this is going to be an analysis that's appearing in our air water energy report, and it's a fairly extensive analysis. But I did want to just go over some of the highlights with you here. Here's a table of contents, and where we cover all the acquisitions, which are quite important as well. So a lot of the report is analysis of the acquisitions. But the Andritz is one of the top 70 companies with more than 1% share in this solutions market that we're just talking about. And it's a leading global company in the field, and it makes recovery boilers and dryers and all sorts of different process equipment. And it is also involved in the environmental technology. And it's headquartered in Austria. It's got a long history, 27,000 employees, and again, revenues in euros that are $6.4 billion. Now, what we've done is we've defined this solutions market, and what we've said is in each of the four areas where Andritz is active, what is the percentage of their activity that's in this AWE solutions? What's in other air water energy products, which are complementary to the solutions, and what is non-related? And Andritz is an exceptional company in that most of its activity is in this AWE area, and most of it's actually much of it certainly is in the solutions area, and their goal is really to make further inroads in that market. So in separation, they have about 900 million in revenues, and it's all in the solutions business. In the hydro business, which of course is mostly moving water and things around, it's pretty heavily solutions with a little bit in the other two areas. The metals and the pulp. The metals is less so, uh, but it's still pretty heavy in the AWE solutions. And in the pulp plants, it's pretty evenly split between the two major categories, and then the one where they're not involved at all. So this is their revenues and how they get to that that six point something billion, and how it is split. The Looking at the market shares, a good predictor of achievable percent EBITDA is the revenue of the company relative to the revenue of the top competitor, top company in the field. And if the market leader has 50%, as market leader has a number, and you can achieve 50% of that number, then the chances of making a decent EBITDA are a lot better than if you're down around 5%. So the question would be, what has Andritz achieved, and particularly with some of their acquisitions, how have they increased or decreased the market share? Now, we took centrifuges. They've owned Bird centrifuges for 18 years, but they're competing with GEA and Alfa Laval, which are pretty tough competitors in the sanitary field. So wisely, they have gone after the municipal field, and their market share has gone up, as you can see here in the orange, compared to what it was when they purchased the company. Their market share has gone up in centrifuges in the heavy machinery area, and it's gone down in the sanitary, sanitary being food and pharmaceuticals and the related areas. So another way to look at it too is with pumps. They bought Ritz pumps, but basically they're a very small player in the pump market. They had a very small percentage compared to the market leader when they purchased the company, and that hasn't really changed much. What has changed is in the hydropower pumps, they had a percentage of the market leader, but now they're up to the 100% because they are the market leader in the hydropower pumps. Another niche example, and I think this is important, that if you make money in the niches can be pretty small. And they've said that the niche is pretty small in Finland for air pollution control service, but we're going to own that market. So they bought the top company providing that air pollution service in Finland. So they went from a small percentage compared to the market leader to the 100% because they are the market leader. So another way to look at the revenues is the market versus the market leader is in the industries themselves. And in the hydropower, the market leader and Andritz are one and the same, but we also put in dollar billions here too. So they're the market leader, but it's a relatively small market, let's say, compared to coal-fired power, where they're very small. Their revenues are very small, and the largest supplier in air, water, energy, and coal has revenues in that sector alone of over $2 billion. So, but wisely, I think Andritz realized that their role is not to pursue this very big but very difficult market, and instead, in places like pulp and paper, they are the market leader, even though it's a smaller market. So the next question is, what happens when they make these acquisitions? How big a market does it open up? Well, they bought R&B in 2004, and we have very detailed forecasts country by country for and industry by industry for all these different products. So you can look and see that by getting into the belt filter press business today, there's an opportunity of $700+ million a year, or in drum and disc filters of over 900 a year, belt filter presses over 1.2 billion. And so these are with the purchase of Netsch that got them into that particular market as well. So these Cross-Maffei, R&B, and Netsch purchases brought them into those markets. Now the Bird purchase availed them of a market now that's over 900 million per year in the decanter type centrifuges. And with Cross-Maffei, they have a $1 billion market in the basket pusher and other types of centrifuges. They purchased GEAPC, the remnants thereof, and I think wisely are not trying to become the leading company and compete with Mitsubishi, for instance, in this particular marketplace. But there are a lot of revenues that have opened up with the technologies that they acquired from GEAPC. They had fabric filters, but this is a more in that same area, and that's a $10 billion a year market. Power plant scrubbers, again, it's probably not something they want to be pursuing too aggressively, but that ranges anywhere from 3 to 20 billion a year, depending on the year. Industrial scrubbers is a more steady, 9 billion a year market, and then precipitators is a $6 billion a year market. So the big opportunity, I think, is this solutions, and Andritz not only has recognized that, but they've said, we're going to go after the solutions using the latest digital technology. So they've coined the name Metris and are pursuing these packages very, very aggressively, where they provide the software and the solutions. And as we were just talking about, when they have service companies, such as in Finland, they can remotely monitor the activity of the plant and then go in and provide the service as needed. The IIoT sweet spot, let's say, for any of these systems companies is in the guide. So we divide IIoT into guide, control, and measurement. But the guide is where Andritz would have an advantage over Rockwell or some of these other players who don't have the knowledge of the specific processes which Andritz is actually providing. And so providing the guide software is a real winner, because you can buy the controls and you can buy the measuring devices to go along with it. But if you have the guide software, you have a real insight and leverage for obtaining the orders and providing the solutions. So we have guide revenues as part of our IIoT report, and it's a $7 billion market just in the chemical industry, just for guide, of which Andritz probably has only about 5 million, and the market leader would have over 300 million. And electronics is almost nothing. In the food industry, again, Andritz has got modest revenues, and the leader has 15, 20 times as many. So you get down to some of these other oil and gas, they're particularly not involved in that. The market leader has, almost 150 times more than they do. But when you get into down here under power, because of what they're doing in the hydropower, they have some pretty big revenues there. So the market leader might only be about 4 times their size in terms of providing this guide software, and there's probably room for growth there too. And in pulp and paper, they are the market leader. But again, they have a pretty small percent. The rest of it is pretty well dispersed, but it's a $1.8 billion market. Refineries and water, wastewater, they're not really a player in the guide area or in the total solutions. Although they do have pretty robust belt filter presses for wastewater and centrifuges and so forth there. So we then go into all these different acquisitions and how it shapes the market shares. And we're going to be continuing to do this. And we have the newest acquisitions every month and an acquisition database. And some of the important, I think, aspects of doing this detailed analysis of the acquisitions, is you do get the purchase price, you do get the concept of what markets the acquirer, in this case, Andritz thinks they're going to achieve, and what the market was at the time, what the revenues were for the company at the time, and what the purchase price and so forth. So all this is included in these analysis going all the way back, as you can see, to 2004. One last point I'd like to make is on the service. I suggested that Andritz was not going to be well served to go after these, $50 million, $100 million power plant air pollution control projects. On the other hand, they have transformer rectifier electricals for precipitators, which are a follow-on item and which can be monitored remotely. And they acquired the technology from GE, and they had their own technology. So they really own now this, what they call SIR, which is an abbreviation there for their electricals for precipitators. So the service area is a big potential area, and it's all part of this total solutions. And we believe that Andritz is well positioned to pursue this total solutions, and is making acquisitions and doing a lot of their own research, particularly in the IIoT area, to strengthen their position. So thanks for hearing about what we're doing here. Keep in mind that we do have similar analyses of a number of other companies in the AWE market report, and we do have monthly editions as well. And then, of course, our standard market reports can be part of it as well. So we'd like to thank you for spending the time today and look forward to talking to you about it.